3 years earlier, 2109, an asteroid just outside Earth's atmosphere. General Carter, what private? The asteroid's radiation levels are off the charts. If that thing hits the Earth, the creatures near the impact will get more radiation than 50 nuclear warheads. Sir, what do we do? The lasers will only make things worse. We pray and hope that the impact doesn't do anything drastic. The asteroid lands in the African safari. The radiation drastically mutates the insects living in that area as they grow to phenomenal heights. They burrow into the ground. We tell no one about these creatures' origins, understand, yells the general. 3 days later, 2109, I sure miss him, Mr. Carter, says Maya Jensen. She isn't 12-year-old. She has solid black hair and is crying. Today her brother was lost in a terrible accident that happened through his career. He tests new robots for the military. I know Maya, he was a good man. This man is General Tyson R. Carter. He is a tall black man. He is the general for the military and friend of Maya. She looks at the tombstone, crying. It reads Travis Jensen, brother, friend. So I've heard you want to join the program to pilot the Rancid, says the general. You realize that you have competition for that pilot opportunity, right? It's to follow in his footsteps. He always wanted the best for me. So I'm going to earn my spot, Maya says hysterically. Both walk away from the grave crying. 3 years later, 2112, Captain Maya, said a voice from the intercom in the Rancid. A white robot with red and blue symbols. Yes, Colonel, said Maya. Have you found the Class C insectoid? Affirmative. He is attacking a small business building. Okay, commence with the attack. She fires several rockets into the side of insectoid. The shell of the insectoid allows the rockets to bring him no harm. Maya quickly pulls the machine gun from the robot's side and begins firing. The angry insectoid runs quickly over to her and throws her down to the ground. She stares in fear at the side-icon coming down on her. She closes her eyes expecting a quick sudden death. She opens her eyes to see a sword through the insectoid, and then it is cut in half. The blood of the insectoid covers the Rancid. Its terrible smell and shock of what happened knocks Maya out cold. She awakes to find herself in the medical bay of USS Island, a gigantic floating ship with over 100,000 workers on it. What happened? Maya asked the nearest doctor. You passed out. We brought you here for observation, and if you're wondering about the Rancid, it is in the hangar, but for now we would like for you to stay here, replies the doctor. There was another one. Just like the Rancid. What was it? She asked in a curious tone. Its codename is the Joker. Its technology is a lot better than the Rancid's, but it's a lot more dangerous to pilot because of a certain chemical that has to be taken while controlling it, replied the doctor. I would like to meet the pilot, if that is okay, Maya says with a hint of sadness. I'm sorry, but the identity of the Joker's pilot is confidential. Only 2 people know, and that is the president and the general, explained the doctor. She sets up for another question when a small, circular, robot comes in with the serial number K1039 written on the side. Clunk, exclaims Maya. In walks the general with a bright smile lit on his face. I'm glad to see that you are okay. You know, after a year of fighting these things you would think that you would get used to all the defense capabilities of these things. He picks up a cup of water and takes a sip. But you always seem to fall on your ass. Then again you always seem to win against these things. You're a true inspiration, Maya, said General Carter confusingly. The reason I do it is for my brother. After his death I vowed to make sure no one would die, if I could help it, said Maya crying. You know he loved you, and would want you to stop all this crying over him, said General Carter comforting her by hugging her. His birthday is in a few days, said Maya. I know. Are you going to visit the grave? Asked General Carter. Yes. Trying to get off subject, she asks the question, can I meet the pilot of the Joker? No, shouted General Carter. Why is it so important that you keep his identity a secret? Asked a frustrated Maya. Because, if everybody knew the identity of that pilot, it would compromise his mission, General Carter explained. What's his mission? She asked angrily. That's classified too, he said. A voice from the intercom called General Carter to the meeting room. I have a meeting with him right now. As for you, the doc says you're free to go, but the meeting room is off limits. Got it, he explained. Got it, she said softly. He smiled as he left the room. She jumped off the bed and walked out the self-opening door. As she walked down the hall, she was greeted by friendly smiles and waves. When she reached her room, she laid down on the bed when the idea hit her. Clunk, me and you are going to see that pilot. We will climb into the air ducts, head to the meeting room, and listen in on the conversation, she said happily. She piled up chairs and started crawling towards the meeting room. They reached the meeting room early enough for the meeting to start. The first man to enter is General Carter. He takes a seat at the far end of the table and gets a glass of water from the man in the meeting room. He's late. This isn't like him, says General Carter. Maya waits patiently in the vents when a tall man wearing a mask and the suit he wore while piloting walks in. He addressed General Carter in a formal manner and apologizes for his lateness. It's okay, you know you don't have to wear that thing while you're in here, says General Carter. Thanks man, it gets really hard to breathe in here, says the man. Maya looks in anticipation of who the man is. He takes off the mask, revealing a long, black-haired male about 24 years old. Maya's eyes widen, for she knows the man. Travis, she says with a mixed reaction of emotions. Maya still talks about you. It's like you never even left, says General Carter with a little laughter in his voice. Technically I never did. How was she anyway? The last time I ever saw her was when she was 11, says Travis. You know the ship you saved in battle today? Yeah, she is the pilot and usually one of the best ones we got. I'm just guessing she had an off day. Wow, my sister a pilot. I'm one proud brother. You know, after our parents died 6 years ago, it was my job to look after her. I still don't understand why we had to tell her that I died, explains Travis. Because of the fact that, if she knew how dangerous it was to pilot the Joker, then she would have begged you not to do it and you would have not done it, and you are the only one who can fly it, said General Carter. Maya, still in the vents, couldn't stop staring at her brother. The man she thought was dead for the past 3 years just showed up in front of her eyes. She put one hand forward to get closer to her brother, but it opened the vent to the meeting room. She fell straight to the meeting room table, breaking the table. Travis and General Carter both looked in awe. The impact didn't seem to affect her, as she got up and stared at her long-lost brother. Travis, is that really you? She asked. Maya, I told you to stay out of here, and you disobeyed me, yelled General Carter. Carter, stop this, let her know it's better this way instead of all this secrecy. It's me, Maya. Wow, you have gotten prettier, said Travis with happiness in his voice. She reaches out for him and hugs him. Travis, I've missed you. How can you have put me through the torture of having thought you were dead? You are such a jerk, yelled Maya, crying and still clenching him. I am, and I know it, but now that I'm here we can get things back on track, said Travis comfortingly. She started to say something when an alert siren started blaring. You two go and take care of the insectoid before I start yelling at the both of you, said General Carter.